Hey guys, Dick Plipnik here, and welcome back to another episode of Online Growth Systems. Today's episode, we're going to be going over our Monopoly series and real estate analysis. So in this series, what we do is we take a piece of property on the Monopoly board, we take it apart, we apply business principles to it, and we look about how you can take real estate skills from Monopoly and apply it in real life, whether it's business or real estate. So let's take a look at the board here, and the property we're going to be analyzing today are the railroads. And since there are 4 of them, we're going to be focusing on Reading Railroad because all the numbers are pretty much the same. So here's a look at what the property card looks like, and as you can see for Reading Railroad, the rent for each property you own, each railroad you own, your rent gets doubled. So when you double your properties, you double your rent. So that's kind of unique about the railroads, is you don't need hotels or houses. So let's take a look at the cash flow analysis. So the price for each railroad is $200, and the gross income, the rent that you can bring in, ranges from $25 to $200 per landing. So now this is going to be a graph of the number of railroads owned, showing that for each railroad you own, without any hotels, you are going to double your rent, your income for the property. So that's a benefit of having the railroads. Now let's do the strategic analysis. So for the group property landing, that's for the amount of property that the Monopoly owns on the board is 4 out of 40 properties total, which is 10%. And as you can see in this pie chart here of the total property on the board, they own a whopping 10%, which is the most on any of the entire Monopoly board. So they're a great cash flowing asset in that sense. Here's a look at where they're strategically placed. There's one on each side of the board, guaranteeing that you have a chance at someone getting rent to you no matter what side of the board they are on. Now let's take a look at the costs. When you're looking at cost, you have to think of it just like business, that it's not throwing money away. It is investing. You are investing in your future, your dream, your career. So for each property, each railroad, it costs $200 a piece. So the entire Monopoly to buy it all would be $800. So now, unlike other monopolies, when you own the entire monopoly, or as you get bigger, the cash flow becomes larger, but with exponentially larger, I should say. But as you can see that with railroads, that's not the case. So for housing and hotels, it's $0 each because they don't have any, but that's a benefit in another way because you don't have to spend extra money to maximize the output of your property. So now we're going to look at best practices. This is where we look at what in the game, how to apply it. So the best strategy for owning the railroads is to buy them early as you can in the game, so that later on you can resell them, and like you had there arguing for them to buy you, and you can take it for the highest bidder because they have a really good rent right away, but later on when you're getting $2,000 from Boardwalk, $200 isn't that much. So now we're going to do the cash flow board game analysis from Robert Kiyosaki's board game, and we're going to take a look at the income statement sheet and analyze the railroad properties. So the income for maxed out landing when you own them all is $200 a piece. So for each landing it's $200. The entire Monopoly costs $800, which means that it's going to take 4 times for someone to land on a maxed out property for you to get your money back. And total income varies on the game depending on chance. I mean, eventually it is a roll of the dice. So now that you've learned the tips, tricks, and strategies of the railroads and how you can apply them in real life, go out today and take one thing that you learned here today and apply it in your real business, in your career, in your job, in your relationships. Now looking back, I really applied this in my first business, everything property maintenance. When I was like 14 years old, I started a lawn care business, and eventually I was hiring 20 of my peers, and I bought out a company by the time I was 17. So that's how I applied, getting in early for cheap. And then I later on sold it before I went to college. So make sure you guys punch that subscribe button as hard as you can, that you break your tablet. And I want you to comment below in the comments what you think of the Monopoly Company getting rid of the thimble. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.